paper?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Super cute.
Our old family photo. Now that little baby is 4. So we got to do another session.
Of photos?
Wait
Family. Yeah, wait for this one to come out, be a little bit
it's a boy,
older. It's a boy. Little boy.
That's why she needed an egg McMuffin. A sausage egg McMuffin. Extra protein.
Yep.
Because the bad thing about, wait, are we live yet?
Yes.
Okay, maybe not the bad thing. The interesting thing about Hamilton is if you want breakfast anywhere, you can't get it.
You used to be able to.
The bakery used
Bakery
to, but the
closed.
bakery has been closed. Do you know Jay's used to do breakfast sandwiches, Keenan? Did you
No, I
ever
did
have
not
one
know
of
that.
them? They were glorious. They were
Really?
so good. They were like egg McMuffin, whatever meats, cheeses, and then they would get a super crispy hash brown, put it right in the middle.
That's genius.
It was so good.
So they nixed that
Yeah.
because of why?
Well, probably because only like 4 people knew that they were doing breakfast sandwiches. So they wouldn't, I would assume they didn't sell a lot. I don't know.
They sold 4 of them.
I was all
Only
of
make
those
4
4 people.
That's so good.
Wait, does Subway do breakfast? Maybe I just lied.
I think they do.
now. They do everything.
It's,
They do in our
it's
town.
Subway, though.
And I
That's
go
all
there
we
for
have.
lunch almost
Yeah.
every day, so it's like, that's why I need it. And Keenan lives in Cameron, which has McDonald's, so
Yes.
he'll grab me a
So I just
McMuffin
stop
on the
in
way.
the McD's.
How far away is that from here? 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
It's like 10 to 20,
I can
depending
get
on
here
how
in like
fast.
7 to 10 minutes.
Depending on how
you
fast you're driving.
I think it's actually like 15 minutes total,
Yeah,
but it's not. It doesn't take that long.
yeah.
For you.
No. I rarely go the speed limit, though. Oh, Missy says hi.
Hello.
Sausage McMuffin, no cheese and hash brown is the best. I agree. Well, actually, I like the cheese.
Yeah.
I gotta have the cheese on the McMuff.
Yeah. I feel like cheese makes everything better.
It does, I concur.
Are we serving snacks tonight, she says?
I wish. Honestly, if I wasn't mic'd up, I would be pros. I love to snack while I paint.
Yeah.
But then I realized, and that was like going to be part of the thing with the live paint along, is we'll like eat food and like hang out. But when you're wearing a mic, you can't eat or drink. And then it's like, I'm too selfish that I'm like, no snacks for everybody then, because if there is food there, I will eat it.
I do feel like the occasional time that I have a snack, that I get a dirty look from you, like, why are you?
It's cruel.
Why are you
It's
eating
cruel. Because you can turn your mic off.
I can. That's true.
Jackie asked if this is the last live. We have one more live. We got to do the cat for the September. So we're actually going to do that Thursday night. I know I think I might have said Friday last time. We changed our mind. It's Thursday. That's going to be our last one.
Yeah.
So this is our second to last one.
That's exciting.
Ooh, Cynthia from Mesa, Arizona. I have family that lives there. It's not hot there today. Woohoo!
Nice.
Shanalyn says, are we going to be getting different paint pans from now on, or how's that going to work? Well, we're going to go back to liquid in November, but like once in a while we will be putting different types of paint in the subscription boxes. Because I just want you guys to like learn new things and teach you new things and be familiar with other products, because maybe you've only known liquid watercolor, you never tried cake pans, so we'll give you cake pans one time. I think we're probably going to put tubes in a box, so we're like trying to work on it so there'll be different things, but it won't change every month. The majority of it will be liquid. It'll just be once in a while.
Someone asked, when will the skull be painted?
So the skull tutorial is being released October 1st. Both the haunted house and the skull tutorial will be out October 1st. I just said that, but I said it again.
That's okay.
Okay, great.
just to verify.
Great. I realized halfway through I didn't have any new information. I was just
The
repeating.
same information. How many times could we reiterate that same information in different ways?
I do that naturally. I am a repeater. It is a problem. Like when I'm trying to make a point with someone in an argument, I say like the same point like 6 times. But I think that's why I'm an effective teacher, because it's like I'm constantly reminding people. And it's
That makes
okay when
sense.
you're teaching.
Yeah.
When you're having an argument with someone, it's not the best.
Effective.
Because they're like, you already said this 5 times. My dad is
Try
like that.
not to argue with people. I usually fail not arguing. I always argue. That's what I'm saying. It always happens. I can't not.
Who do you argue with?
Brock. I always argue
Oh,
with Brock.
yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you guys do.
But other than that, I guess I don't really argue with many other people.
You've tried to fight me on a couple of things, but I had photograph evidence to prove I was right. So
Like the hashtag situation.
Listen,
at the end of the tutorial.
Listen, there are a couple places that have food that I thought I was being treated nicely.
Keenan he's just like, get this and ask for this. It's
It's-
so good with it. And I'm like, Keenan, it comes on there already. He's like, no, they only do it for me because they ask me if I want it. I say yes. It's so good. And I'm like, Keenan, I'm telling you, it comes with it. He's like, no, it doesn't. And
She took a picture of the menu.
I took a picture.
and,
I went
like,
to the
edited
place.
it
I
and
took a
circled
picture
it and
of the
sent it
menu,
to me.
edited the photo, and circled where.
It only
And
hurt
our friend
mildly.
Jess-
They said, "Dude, just for you."
Our friend Jessie, who works with us, she was with me. She's like, Sarah, why can't you just let him think that they added on? Like, it's just a nice thing to let him think. Like, just let him think
have
it.
this.
And I'm like, no,
It's messed
Alex
up.
and I are the same way, so it's okay.
it's a problem.
We will tweet that stuff out to each other all the time. Like, I can't let you get away with that. I'm sorry.
Me and my husband have this poster in our room. It's from, it's a quote from a movie, Moonrise Kingdom, but it's my favorite. It says, I love you, but you have no idea what you're talking about. And it's like the greatest thing ever. Michael and I
That's a
just
good
say it
quote.
back to each other all the time. We're like, I love you, but you don't know what you're saying.
I did not tell you that it was 7:15.
Oh, what time is it?
7:16.
Oh gosh, okay, let's get started.
Okay.
I'm out of breath. This baby. Okay, welcome everybody to Let's Make Art. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are so excited to have you. My name is Sarah Cray, and we are painting the Rustic doorway tonight. Ooh, yes. We have Keaton working our cameras,
Yes.
so you'll hear him talking to the back. We have Devin and we have Alex on tonight. They've been on before and they came on again, and I love having them, so thank you. Thanks for being here. You guys are really great. Sorry, my brain just stopped working.
That's fine.
I have a little bit of a cold. Sorry if my voice is weird. Does my voice sound weird? No? Well, you know when you don't know what your own voice sounds like? And so then it's like, to me, my voice sounds different, but maybe not to you. I don't know.
It does now that you say that.
Does it?
Yeah. And you were out of breath a minute ago. So.
Yeah. Okay. Let's focus here.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Okay, we're using 3 colors. We're using azure blue, fuchsia, and dandelion yellow. So just those 3 colors. Funny enough, we're actually mixing just about all of the colors that are in this, but it's okay. I have a color wheel here to help you with referencing, and I'll tell you guys what to mix as you guys go. We are using Canson watercolor paper, 140 pound. It's what we always use. It comes in your subscription and your kits. We're using Princeton Heritage Series. They're around 6 and around 2. Our go-to brushes. Rounds are really wonderful to use, especially in watercolor, so get these brushes if you don't have them because they're really great. We have 7 steps tonight. Okay, our first step. We're going to do a sketch, but it's okay. From what I was looking, it didn't seem a huge problem that we didn't have an outline with this tutorial. I've been watching you guys. Your paintings have been coming out awesome, and you guys have been so brave to just like go at this freehand, so good job.
I just traced a sandwich.
I just took my Subway lunch,
Yes.
actually, when I did this project.
Initially.
Initially, I took my 6-inch turkey on wheat that I always get, and I just did a little bit. It worked out great. Step number 2, we'll paint our door. Step number 3, we'll do our pots. Step number 4, we will start our brick wall. Step number 5, we'll do this wall foliage. Step number 6, we'll finish the brick. And then step number 7 is just the small details like the hinges on the door and the shadowing and stuff. So just finishing that off. Oh, Lori said, I wonder if a cheap color wheel can be included in the subscription box. That is a great idea, Lori. I will actually look into that because that is totally possible.
It's an excellent idea.
Excellent idea. Thank you. You're really great.
Where were you a while back?
I wish that you were here
Lori.
2 years ago when we started this company. Okay. So let's do warm-up. No, we got to do our oath and then warm-ups. And then we'll start our painting. So if everyone can raise their right hand and repeat after me, I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you. Did I do something wrong, Keenan? You chuckled like I did something wrong.
I was laughing because you caught me right in the middle of a yawn as you started the oath.
Okay. So I like to start off with the oath because you just need to realize before you start that this is just a piece of paper and we're all here just to have fun. And this little 9x12 sheet does not determine your worth of anything. So even if you paint it and it turns out bad, you can just like throw it in the trash and then that's it. And then like paint something else or do it again. It doesn't matter. So that's a friendly reminder. Okay. Warm-ups. So the first thing that we're going to practice is, and we do this just about every single time, is a value change. Value is all about the lightness and darkness of a color, and you can see here that we have lots of different values going on. So even within our brick wall, we have light bricks, we have dark bricks, and we have medium bricks. It's really important to have at least 3 different values in your painting if you're trying to create form. So, Dana wants to know what you look like, Keenan. Somebody said Batman. Do you want to come say hi? There are quite a few Batman. Which one would be the most complimentary and which one would be the most insulting?
I don't know.
Oh.
As long as it's not Michael Keaton.
So not Michael.
He's
So that was
he's the best Batman apparently, but I think, who's my favorite? What's the most recent guy?
Ben Affleck?
Or Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Not Ben Affleck.
He would be the most recent.
I still can't get behind Ben Affleck as Batman.
Why? I think Ben Affleck is a good actor.
I think he's a great
gets
actor.
A bad rap.
But I don't think he's Batman.
Okay. Touche.
Batman is. Do you disagree?
No, I was just thinking when I was watching that Batman, it annoyed me how he went really low with his voice, and it didn't sound normal.
Can you do a Batman voice for us, Keenan, really quick, please, before we start? Just try.
Yes, you can.
Just try.
Let's see, Batman's voice.
Where he does like, I'm Batman.
No, he gets really low.
I'm Batman.
Yes.
Well done, sir.
Good job.
Next Batman. Right
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
I just realized that I don't think they could see me because I was on the top cam.
Well, and you don't have the picture-in-picture up.
I do, but it's not very large.
Oh, it's not on my screen.
That's all right. That'll just be a mystery.
Do you guys? Can you guys
Wrapped in
see
an
a
enigma.
picture-in-picture? Because I don't see it on mine.
I can.
Let us know if you guys have a picture-in-picture on your screen.
Someone said, "Oh, what am I wrong about?"
Batman?
Okay.
I think I'm wrong about which Batman is worst, and I apologize to anyone who disagrees with me, but I'm not wrong.
Okay, value changes. All right, we got to focus. This is a long tutorial anyway. We got to get through this. We're gonna do it, you guys. We'll be okay. Okay, so again, value is all about the lightness and darkness of a color. In watercolor, if you want a darker value, you're gonna load up on the paint. So you're gonna like bathe your paintbrush in the paint. Okay, so I'm like, my full belly of the brush is in that paint. And then I'm going to paint that on my paper. And this is a dark value. Yeah, they're saying they don't have picture-in-picture, Keenan.
I am looking at YouTube, and it has picture-in-picture.
Oh, now it does. When you go to top cam, it does picture-in-picture, but front cam, it doesn't have picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
Well, weird.
I don't put picture-in-picture on the front cam.
Okay. Well, that would make sense now. All right. Moving on. How long have we been doing this?
I don't even know.
Okay. You got your dark value. Excellent. Excellent. Now you're going to dip your paintbrush a couple of times, just 1 or 2. Hit it off the side of your cup so it isn't dripping, and then paint. And you should have a lighter value. Yep.
While
Yes.
you do this, could you mention the colors again?
Oh yeah, we're using azure blue, dandelion yellow, and fuchsia. So just keep doing that same dipping and painting process until you get a barely there color. And this, you can see, is our value range. And you're gonna keep on going till there's like a color that's like barely there. If you're not used to painting with watercolor, then you will not be used to using this light of a paint. But I'm telling you, it's necessary. So please embrace these lighter values. Don't stay just within this range, because then your painting is just gonna look flat. You wanna make sure that you have the range going on. Okay. So then the next thing that I want us to practice is playing with, it's essentially a value range, but we're gonna practice foliage pretty much. So what I like to do, let's mix some green. So to make green, you just mix blue and yellow together. Now when you mix these two colors together, these are very vibrant colors, so your green is going to tend to be really bright. If you want to tone it down and give more like a desaturated green or an olivey green, just grab a little bit of fuchsia and mix that in there, and it will tone your green down. If you put too much fuchsia, this will turn brown. Okay, so when I do foliage, what I like to do is I want you to just kind of make like roundish marks with your paintbrush. And they're going to be random and they're going to be messy. Yep. And then I want you to add just water with that. So using just water, we're going to still be making just kind of marks all around. And this is introducing some lighter values. Now you'll see that I'm still lifting up my brush to leave some white spaces. That is important. You don't want to just like run your brush across the entire thing like this. That will even out the values and get rid of any of the highlights. Now the last thing that I like to do is I like to drop in color while it's wet. So while it's nice and wet like this, I'm getting some cool textures going on, and I just like to drop in some colors. And then if you want to drop water on top of that to make that spread, you totally can. But I just kind of want you guys to get used to doing these kind of, sorry, I just kicked you, these random, like it feels weird because it's not like I'm like make a circle and then fill it in. Like it's just marks, and I'm not being very specific, but it's what I paint. So I'm just trying to show you how I do some of these things. Yeah, very nice. And then whenever you're trying to do like plants in general, depending on the type of plant, I tend to go for rounder forms because organic things tend to have that roundish shape instead of like super geometric angular things, but it also depends on the type of plant. So if you have like a specific kind in mind that does have straighter lines, then like paint that way. You don't have to do this shape. Okay. Now, I think we probably should go over some color mixing, and then I think we're okay to start. So, for our green, we went over our green, and then we make quite a bit of like orange in this painting. So, I want to show you how you can do orange. So, What I actually like to do when I'm mixing green and orange is I actually make 2 piles of yellow. And one of my yellows is for my pink and one of my yellows is for my green. And that way they don't get muddy. So I'm going to grab some yellow and pull it off to the side, which is why I love this palette, because I can just pull. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of fuchsia and mix that in. So this had more yellow than fuchsia, so I have a pretty decent orange. Now, if you want to have bricks that are a little bit more red, you can just add more fuchsia. And I'm only going to do it on one side so you guys can see the comparison. So here's a little bit more red, which I know compared to this orange, and this is where it gets really tricky. Compared to the orange that's already on our palette, you might look at that and be like, gosh, that is bright red, like that is pink. But when you put it on your paper, it's not going to come off that way. So don't let your mind play too many tricks on you by thinking like, oh gosh, that color is wrong. Like just test it a little bit and realize that within our bricks, we are going to have some bright red areas, and we are also going to have some like really light orange, like tan areas too. So like really embrace those different oranges and reds and browns that you're going to get. Now, to tone down the redness a little bit, you're going to use the opposite of red. So whenever you're wanting to tone down one color in a mixture, you add its complement. The complement is simply what's across from it on the color wheel. So if you have a color wheel, you can use one to just see what's across from it. So the opposite of red, if our brick is too red, is going to be green. So I'm just going to do a little swoop of green, introduce that to my red mixture, and now I have kind of more of this brown color. So you're just going to kind of keep playing like that. Now I like to mix as I go. I don't do all my mixing before and then pull from that while I paint. Some artists choose to do that. There is nothing wrong with that at all. I just want to get to painting as fast as I can, so that's why I don't do that. But along with that is I don't mind if my colors slightly change as I go, since I'm mixing as I go. So it doesn't bother me and I accept it and I'm okay with that. If it super bothers you that your color mixing slightly changes as you go, you should probably mix as much as you can before, and that way just keep pulling from it. You just have to do a lot, so then you don't run out. So that's about it. Yeah. Okay. Some people are saying like fuzziness is going on. That's probably your internet connection, because I think we're good, right? Our internet's pretty good and we're focused. At least it looks focused on mine. So if you're experiencing a lot of fuzziness, it could just be the connection that you're watching. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm trying to think if there's practice. Maybe we should practice bricks with those orange since we have it. So, and this will actually be really helpful in terms of different brush strokes. So with round brushes, you can be super versatile with your thickness of your brush strokes. So if you want wide lines, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my brush more horizontal, and I'm going to be using the belly, like the side of the brush, to make my shape. Okay, so you can see I can get a pretty decent wide mark with that. That might be too wide for your bricks, but I just want to show you how wide you can go. Maybe do like half that, so I'm only pressing like half the way down for your brick. Like so. And when you want to do more narrow lines or more thinner lines, if you hold your brush vertical and just paint on with the tip of the brush, you can get a really thin line. So, and this is why paintbrushes, round paintbrushes, are so amazing. Like, look at those two marks. That was with the same exact brush, just held differently. So great.
What a variety.
That really is why watercolorists use round brushes, because it's all about timing. So you don't want to have to switch your brushes every 5 seconds. So you just use one of these guys do thin and thick
You're
all
set.
day long.
Genius.
Genius. Okay.
Wonder if Batman can water paint. I
He
doubt
could
it.
if he, well, we should send him, if he painted along with us, he could.
Which one
What
should
if
we
you,
invite?
what if you decided to dress up as Batman for our last
Live?
tutorial, our last live,
last
also
live?
tour.
I would have to gain several pounds of just solid muscle.
And a few billion dollars.
Batman, I'm not going to do it wrong. Yeah, a few billion.
And a few $billion. Okay, I think we're good for our warm-ups. I'm ready to start. Oh, Leslie said, can I do another bush? Yes, I'll do that really quick. Okay, so what I like to do is I grab some green and I just kind of do like roundish marks. I'm lifting up my brush so there's white spaces, okay? And then I add a little bit of water. Okay, so by adding water, you're introducing a lighter value to the mix. And then I get lots of green, like a darker green, like super powerful. And then I drop that in there places too. And if I'm feeling really risque, is that the right word? No?
I don't know.
Risky.
There you go.
Yeah.
Risky is
Risque.
scandalous.
Risque is
like
scandalous.
PG-13
Yeah,
version.
that's what
Let's keep this.
Yeah,
Let's keep this
this is a
GPG.
family
If
channel.
you're feeling risky, grab some yellow.
call you Allie.
I asked you. I asked for it. And if I'm asking you, I'm being sincere. Grab some yellow and just drop that in the mix and just see what happens. Or maybe even blue if you're feeling really crazy. Why not? Yes.
Karen says courageous.
There we go. That's a very
That's
positive.
PG. That's like Hallmark PG.
That's like
It's a different rating.
That's a Disney Channel.
Yeah, Disney Channel. Marcy Clark says, my son already thinks Keenan is Batman.
Aww.
I was going to say, if they didn't see all of you, why would you tell them differently?
You're right.
He looks just like him.
I am Batman.
Have you ever seen us in the same place?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So you can keep your scratch paper close to if you want to test colors. That might be good, especially since we are mixing a lot, but that's completely up to you. Also, I would like to say this because sometimes people don't know. For your palettes, it's super important that your palettes are white underneath and not any other color, because any other color underneath, it just won't match the paper. So if this is a brown palette and I'm mixing colors, it's gonna look different on my palette than when I put it on my paper. That's why most palettes are white. So that's just fun information for you guys. So if you're mixing your own colors and you have a different colored palette underneath, it could be throwing off what you're putting on your paper. Okay. Oh, Debbie said her shrub came out great. She's doing the happy dance. Good job, Debbie. I love it when that happens. Okay, grab our pencils. Let's move on. Let's start this project. So we're gonna sketch our door. So straighten, and this is the hardest part for me because I like to paint at an angle, but when you're drawing straighter lines, you want to be straight on with your paper so then you can tell if you're straight or not, right? So I'm not gonna start my door right at the bottom. I gotta give a little bit of space for the ground that it's coming in. So I'm gonna probably go in like an inch off the bottom of my paper. And then I'm gonna go sorry, you got the stump.
It's okay. I just needed to get a little straighter.
Okay. Is that what we call it? What do we call it?
I think it's called something different every time.
Okay, great. Okay, so then my door is probably going to be like three inches. Would you say that's 3 inches? Yeah, about 3 inches. And I'm just am going to mark however wide I want it to be. Like so. And then I'm just going to start drawing. Now, if you have a ruler, that would be really handy. I never can find a ruler when I have one, so I just do without. You can use like a straight edge, like maybe your reference photo would be a good idea if you have one of those. And that way you can make sure your lines are kind of straight. So you're just gonna kind of go up. And I think I started my door a little bit too low. So I'm just gonna erase the bottom bit a little bit. And then you're gonna kind of round it at the top. So this is an arched doorway or half of a Subway 12-inch sandwich.
Or some people like to call it a curve.
Some people like to say arch. I like to say half of a Subway sandwich, which is exactly what this looks like. So
It is. I'm glad you agree.
Okay, and you can decide the width. And there is a door, out there that has got to exist that is wider or skinnier, or maybe it's totally round. I saw a few people did like Hobbit doors, which was super fun.
They did?
Yes.
That's excellent.
I know, I was so happy to see that.
Me too. And I haven't seen it. I haven't got to see it. I was happy that you got to see it. That's what I was going to say.
You're really caring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I have my doorway. And of course, this is just a sketch. You can always make adjustments as you go. So after you drew it, look at it and you're like, oh, that feels good, or it doesn't, then just go adjust it. So it's all up to you. Then we'll do our pots. So our pots are going to be a little bit rounded at the bottom because they're round, so they wouldn't be a completely straight line. And then they kind of flare out. They're like regular terracotta pots. Although there are many different types of pots in the world, and if there is a specific kind that you like and you want to paint that in, do it. You absolutely have the right to do that.
What's the difference between Batman and a shoplifter?
What?
Batman can go into a store without Robin. Not gonna lie, I waited this long to tell that joke because I didn't get it.
Really?
I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like,
what do you mean
what
without Robin?
what do they
Of course
need
he can. He's
Robin
a grown
for?
man.
I was thinking about naming, I like the name Robin for a little boy. But does that remind you too much of Christopher Robin? Like if I said, my son, this is my son Robin, will people be like Winnie the Pooh? Or will people be like Game of Thrones? Because there was a character named Robin in Game of Thrones.
I don't know a single boy named Robin. I only know a girl named Robin.
Oh.
My sister-in-law. So I wouldn't have even thought of a boy.
Okay.
I grew up with a boy, Robin.
Yeah?
I like that name.
Was he nice? Isn't it funny how the people you
Sounds
know
like a
really
nice name.
affects who you name your
It's
child?
very true.
That's true.
Okay. Sorry, we're not talking about baby names. Okay, and then the lip of the pot goes a little bit wider than the body, and it is also curved at the top. And you can make your pots as big or as small as you like. This is your painting. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, and honestly, it would probably be really difficult for you to do exactly what I'm doing since we're freehanding this. I can't even make the exact same replica of my own work, so if you can do it of mine, I'm truly impressed. And then just some like tricks to see if you want the bottom of your pots to line up, then you can get like a piece of paper or a ruler or something and see if they're kind of lined up. Mine's a little bit off, but I'm not mad. I'm okay if they're a little bit off. Shayla said she named her son Sheldon after her husband's father. It's like a family name, and everyone thinks they named him after Big Bang Theory. It's a struggle. Naming your kid is like a lot of pressure, I feel. Okay. Now, one thing that I did not do in the pre-recorded tutorial, which I will do now because I had a problem, is I'm going to lightly sketch in where I want my plant shrubbery on my wall thing to go. I didn't do that in the pre-recorded, and I had to move it like an inch up than in the reference photo because I went crazy with my brick wall. So I'm just going to kind of lightly sketch that in. Remember, sketches are just sketches. You don't have to hold to it, but it's just a good little reminder. Oh, Whitney says that being a teacher is really hard
Oh,
because
I
they have 30 new students every single year with all different names. So
Sometimes very unique names.
yes.
I love unique names. They're my favorite. Karen made an excellent point.
What?
Robin Hood.
Oh, duh.
And then Missy seconded that name, Robin Hood of Locksley.
But that's good though. Robin Hood was a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Good feelings.
Yeah, my favorite all-time heroes.
My husband had a dream that we named him Fisher. And I'm like, I don't know. He also had a dream about Luna's name too. So it's just like,
Interesting.
do we follow your dreams? It's like, is it a premonition or are we just making it come true? You know what I mean?
Is it Fisher, F-I-S-S-U-R-E, or F-I-S-H-E-R?
Not Fisher. But I've never met anyone named Fisher, and I feel like that's kind of weird. I don't know.
I don't know. When you said it, I thought that kind of sounded cool.
Yeah, I did too, actually. I just
I was
wanted
like,
to
I
spell
thought that
the-
was
the
cool. Is
Fisher.
that is that okay that
I'm afraid to say
I don't want to like disagree with you on your. Well, what's funny is when he first said it to me, I was like, no. And then like a week later, I was just like, oh, Fisher, that's kind of cute. And then I'm like, gosh, dang it, now
It is hard.
Michael and his dreams.
Hard.
I just got green on my. I need to calm down. I need to focus on painting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's one of the last ones, you know. It's fine.
It's fine.
We'll be here all night.
Well, we will be here all night. It's going to be great. Okay, that was step 1. Congratulations. It looks great. You guys are doing a great job. I love your pots.
That's kind.
Very nice. Okay. I'm ready to paint, so let's paint. We're going to do our blue door first. So I'm going to grab my round 6 since it's a bigger space. If you want to do straight blue, if you want your door to be more blue, then just use azure blue. If you want it to be slightly turquoise, which I tend to lean towards, especially when it comes to vehicles, I'm going to grab a little bit of the green and put that in there. There's no wrong. It's maybe you want to paint your door yellow. You can do whatever you want. This is your painting. Pick the name you can yell easily.
Fisher.
Fisher! Fisher!
Oh, yeah, because
Okay.
Susan says Fisher Robin Cray.
Fisher Robin
FRC.
Cray. FRC.
Just a thought. Just a
think about
donation in the name pile.
All right, now just paint your door.
When is the Thursday tutorial? Same time as tonight?
Same time as tonight, 7:15 Central Standard Time on Thursday. Now, Thursday is going to be kind of a crazy day. We're going to have 2 lives that day. So during the afternoon, we will be doing our Let's Make Art Matter live. And then Thursday evening, we will be doing our cat. We're doing our cat. So just get ready to see a lot of me on Thursday.
Marcy's son's name is Ford. If you remember, he's the one who actually thinks I'm a superhero.
Oh.
Batman.
Keenan's like, I'm not saying he's my favorite
Oh
person.
no, I've said before he's my favorite.
But if you don't name your son after this kid.
Yeah.
So one of my really good friends just had a little baby boy, and she named him Jude, and I love that name, but now I can't name my, you know what I mean?
I think of Jude Law, and he's dreamy.
Yeah, but,
The Beatles song.
yeah.
Hey, Jude. That's all I know. Then I say, what's got your tongue? So I
That's
can't
not
think of
right.
actual words.
Now, as you're painting this, don't worry about your blue being like perfectly even wash. You're gonna get blooms, you're gonna get uneven values. That's okay. This is an aged door. Has a lot of sun damage to it maybe, I don't know. But you know, paint is peeling and it's super old and there's funky things going on, so
You
just,
can assume with the vegetation growing around it that it's in a humid area. And so it's probably got a lot of water damage.
oh, Keenan, thank you for your scientific
You're welcome.
information.
You're welcome.
Renee said she has a son named Jude and also a son named Samuel. I like both of those names. Oh, I love the colors that you guys got on your doors. That's beautiful. I'm going to take the color that you mixed and do my door that color. Bianca and Sophia, those are such cute names. Do you know what's funny is if it was a girl, we already knew what we were going to name it. And then I really didn't think it was going to be a boy. And then they're like, it's a boy. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to have a boy.
We even conducted the wives' tale version of a cast thing with the string and the needle. And it said girl.
And it did say girl.
So that's false.
So that's wrong.
Donna says, I like Silas, but I had all girls.
Silas.
I have a brother named Silas.
Oh, I was like, how do I know that name?
Yeah, it's a great name.
That is a great name.
I don't know if I like that guy, but just kidding, I love that guy.
I feel like I used to watch a show called Weeds, and her son's name was Silas on it, so.
Interesting.
It's throwing me off a little bit, but that's okay.
Jared, Adam, and Andrew from Anne.
Jared, Adam, and Andrew.
Yep, those are her boys' names.
Good names. Well, it's hard because then you're just like, do I want to go super traditional? Do I want to give them a little bit of like funkiness, which is kind of the rage these days? I mean, my girls kind of have different names, so I don't know.
You're getting so many name suggestions from YouTube, it's ridiculous. It's awesome.
If you see one that's like, this is right, say it out loud.
Robin Michael Cray.
That does sound nice.
Ego?
How is it spelled?
I-G-O.
Igo?
Igo?
I don't know.
I can't name someone something that I can't pronounce. That's my one rule.
Is that your one rule?
I won't even talk to someone if I'm not sure how to say their name.
Really?
No.
I just
I'll
don't say
talk
their
to
name.
anybody. I'll just say, hey, bud.
Yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
guy. Hey, girl. How you doing? What is up?
That's what your husband says. Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, guy.
Hey, guy.
I get that. I mean, people don't know how to say my name ever, so.
Do I say it right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, good.
It's spelled with an O, though, so I
Like,
get
oh,
Devon.
awkward.
Oh, I see.
Well, now that's all I'm going to be able to say.
Wait,
You'd be wrong,
Devon
Keenan.
is not right.
Devon rolled in the other day.
Okay, Becky says it's pronounced I-A-O. That doesn't help me, Becky.
Melissa says,
I-
space go cray. And then she goes, LOL. I go cray. But then Marcos, who is from Brazil, I believe, says I go equals eagle, which I think is pretty cool. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Eagle wrong?
No, I go equals eagle.
What?
What are
Oh,
you
I
saying?
go. I'm sorry.
We're way too distracted.
Wait, I am so sorry, you guys. I appreciate you dealing with me right now. Okay, we're gonna do the step 3. We're gonna do pots. Your guys' stores look great. Good job. Let's keep on going. So, how do you guys feel about the name? No, I'm so sorry. Pots. That was a legit thing, and then I'm like, stop doing that.
Well, what was
These
the
people
name?
are here to paint. Sunny, do you like the name Sunny?
Sunny?
Yeah. Is that too Sunny and Cher?
I think Sonny Bono, yeah. I mean, not that that's a bad thing if you
Yeah.
like them.
I think of like,
feel like we're
an older
getting-
guy who's getting ready to retire.
Really?
Like
be
he's
great
worked
when
for
he's
like
like
35
80.
plus years.
It's the perfect name for an older man.
Yes. So he's set when he's
He'll grow
50.
into it.
Okay. I will stop bringing up names. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we're going for our pots now. They're kind of that terracotta color, which is orangish, but like reddish orangish. So add a little bit more azure in there. I mean, fuchsia. Sorry, don't add azure in there. That will turn it green. And I'm just going to start painting. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space in between the lip and the body of the pot. Okay. Okay. Was there a Sunny on General Hospital? Because that's what Rebecca is telling me. I don't know if I've ever seen a General Hospital episode.
Classic show.
Okay, my pot is getting a little bit funky. Oh, it's too angled. Hold on. Let me straighten my pot out. There we go. There we go. And if you just want to add a little bit of shadow on one side, you can grab a tiny bit of green to that orange mixture. Put that brown in there. Or if you want it to be like more of a red shadow, you totally can do that. You are the artist. Denise says, as a former teacher of all grade levels, kids, especially boys, will take a name and use it for insults. So be aware.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, Robin could go to bird brain or bird crap.
Wait, who actually makes up these mean nicknames? Because it sounds like she's got
Is it the teacher making that up?
Yeah.
Or she just whispers it to the other kids in the class.
You're missing a
said
huge
that?
opportunity right now.
Bird brain. Who said that? Just kidding. Just kidding. Teachers are like the greatest and they work really hard. Okay, I'm doing my other pot. Actually, that was, we named our second daughter Luna, and that's what everybody, they're just gonna call her Lunatic in school. And if you know her, it's not wrong. She is a crazy little kid. She has quite the personality, so.
She's like one of my favorite people.
She's hilarious.
She's so funny. I want to tell a story about Luna. She was a hot dog for Halloween.
Yes.
And I think that is so great.
What did she say to me today about hot dogs? I can't remember. It will come to me. But she's so excited about this little baby where she'll just be like, Mom, we have to go to the store and get blankets for the baby. We don't have any blankets. I'm like, it's okay, we have time. And she'll just come to me, she's like, we don't have any bottles for the baby. And I'm like, Luna, it's fine, we'll figure it out. We have time. And we went to Walmart yesterday and she saw burp rags on the wall and she was just like, we have to get these for the baby. She's like so excited to start shopping for the baby. And I'm just like, okay, we have time. We got a few months. She's very concerned we won't have what we need.
Marissa is very confused
At?
about all the names.
Like why we're
She's
doing
like,
it?
I'm sorry, but I can't remember. Are you pregnant?
Yes. Yes, I am. That's why we're talking about baby names. It's a boy. That's why we're talking about boy names. Sorry. I know that you're here to learn about painting, but instead I'm just going to talk to you about my unborn
Have
child.
a baby book, a list of names to read
Just
off.
read it. And I'm like, put hearts on the names that you
These two are
like.
on their own. Let's read these names. Oh man, Susan said, my name is Susan, and in school they did the pig call, Sue.
Aw.
Sorry if that was a flashback, but I love saying that.
You know what, though? Kids will think of anything. Like, I have a really normal name, and they made fun of me for being, like, blonde.
Yeah.
They call me, like, Goldilocks.
Yeah.
They're like, what did they say? They're like, where's your porch, Goldilocks? And you know when, like, that's not even an insult, but when you're a little kid, you're like, what?
That's the most meanest thing.
I can't believe you just said that to me. You like run away crying. I wasn't dramatic, it's fine.
All my bullies were siblings, so.
Very nice.
I'm hating my pots. But
Don't hate them.
Yours are
I love the texture you actually got on that one right there. That's really cool.
good.
Good. Okay. We're moving on. We're moving on to the pots. If you keep on messing with your pots and you don't like them, just like come back to them. Just give them space for a minute, rest your eyes from them, and move on. It's so funny when I see my painting the overhead, like clearly my right pot is bigger than my left. Still gonna keep going. It's fine. There's different size pots. Maybe one's closer. It's okay. Okay, now we're going to, we gotta do our foliage in our pots. So grab some green. And we kind of did this in our warm-up. So I'm gonna do kind of curved, lifting up my brushes, curved marks, and then rinse and use just water to kind of spread it around, still lifting it up. And you can decide how high these go or how full they are, how big they are. It's totally up to you. They've got to exist somewhere, so you're not doing it wrong. And then drop in, while it's nice and wet, you can drop in yellow. I'm dropping in a nice dark green, which is mostly blue. And let's grab some yellow.
Devin Brophy says, I'm a girl named Devin.
Hey!
There's not very many of us.
No. Said most people expect a male. LOL.
Yep. I get Mr. Williams all the time.
Dang.
I don't know a male Devin. I guess I don't strongly associate that with a boy or a girl, actually. Devin.
I don't think I know.
Well, now a girl, because
Yeah.
you're the only Devin I've met. So, good.
I'm Alex, and my last name is Kent. So no one ever goes for girl. I have to use my full name, which is Alexandra, so that helps. But
You know who else has the last name Kent?
Clark, my cousin.
It's all lining up.
I didn't want to say while you guys were talking about Batman, but
That's why he's a punk.
Get out of here. Get out of here with your Batman.
That's funny.
Okay. I got one little bush going on. I'm going to move on to my second one on the other side.
Two funny things. Susan says boy name, Azure, parentheses, little boy blue.
Oh.
And now I'm probably just going to be calling him like, you're my boy blue. Like that's all I'm going to say to him.
What is that from?
old school.
Old school, yeah.
Is that what it is?
I couldn't remember.
That is. Will Ferrell.
This is
You're my boy, boy,
this is really
blue.
why you guys invite us here.
Yeah.
Just so we can just not paint.
Then Amy says, I'm a twin and a kid called us clones, but I thought he was calling us Cyclops because I didn't know what a clone was.
That is hilarious. I love hearing all these different boy names. We got Elliot, Jack, Thompson, Darian. I hope I'm saying that right.
Sue,
Boy named Sue.
a boy named Sue. You
Is
heard
there a
that
boy
song?
named
Have you
Sue?
heard that song?
It's a song.
Or is this song?
It's a,
Yeah,
I know it as a
Johnny Cash
song.
song.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cash.
No, I don't know it.
Oh.
Can you?
I only know that it's
We're
a song.
gonna jam
I
to
was-
that after this.
Yes, because you have to be educated
Yes.
on that song.
Everyone needs to know.
Is it
a boy
appropriate? Should we tell Alexa to play it
named- I
for?
think it's appropriate.
I mean,
She's
I've
got-
never heard of it, so I blame you for
gonna
any
say-
responsibility.
Google the lyrics real quick.
It's Johnny
Actually,
Cash,
that's
so I
not a
never.
bad idea. Johnny Cash back in the day, though.
Yeah.
That's like a PG-13 movie in the 80s. A little risky.
Ugh. Risque, actually.
Risque. Right?
That is the correct.
Louis. That's cute. Kind of reminds me of Louis C.K. though.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone goes, mm. Okay. I got my little bushes done. You guys, they look so good. Good job. Okay.
Alexa, play A Boy Named Sue.
Let's see if it plays.
Let us know.
All right. I'm ready to move on to my brick wall. If your bushes are too washed out, like they're not as colorful or vibrant as you would like, you could have used too much water. What I would suggest doing is actually taking your paper towel and lifting up the excess water so you just don't have too much going on, and then just put darker color in there or more paint. So Alicia, I hope that helps. Okay. It's great. It is enormous, but it's like bam.
It's a powerful
It's
door.
healthy. That exists. You're not doing it wrong.
You're right.
Okay, let's move on to the brick wall. So the biggest thing with this is trying to keep your bricks straight.
It worked.
Did it work?
Yeah.
So just as you're doing your brick, just kind of keep checking the straightness. And if you see your brick lines start to angle, just correct it. So don't like freak out. It's not the worst thing in the world. Actually, a reference photo that on my right-hand side here, my bricks lines got a little bit wonky here. That's okay. Just like as soon as you notice it, correct it. Okay, so let's mix some more orange. So I'm going to grab my yellow, and I'm going to grab my fuchsia. And what I like to do is sometimes I like to mix a few different tones of a color or just some variation, and then I can pull from that. So I have more of a red brick here. I have just orange if I want to do maybe more yellow. And if I want like a browner one too, I could just, ooh, that's too, let's add more color to that. There we go. So I have a few different colors to pull from. And I am actually going to switch to my other cup of water because my one cup of water is pretty green. And on the lighter bricks, if I was using mostly water and just a little bit of orange with my green water, that green water would affect my brick. Yours, it probably wouldn't. Yours isn't very dark. So if your water gets super dark and you're doing light washes, get cleaner water. Okay, so let's just go for it. It doesn't really matter where you start. You can just start. Yeah.
At what point would you like to do a check-in?
Do we want it now?
I just figured.
Yeah, let's do a check-in.
Real quick.
Yep. Okay. We have, okay. We have Devon's here, so we got some great big bushes going on. I like how big they are. They're nice and full. I like the white spaces in between. There's nice highlights, and the different color and value variation within her bush I think is really nice. Good on the pots. Her door is good. I like the watercolor textures. I think it's looking great. So good job. Thanks. Okay, here we have Alex's. So she started to put in the door lines, which is so great. You know how like doors have like those wood, you know what I'm saying.
How doors are made.
You know.
Yeah.
Grain?
It's fine. Grain. Yes, and like the sections, because they're like, I'm going to, thank you. Panels. Really glad that you're here. So that's good. I actually really, even though there's not a lot of white spaces within your greenery, I think there's great texture going on, so I'm not worried about it. I think the texture is interesting enough that you don't have to have all those white spaces. So sometimes you can like pick and choose what you want to do. I do think that your pots are looking a little bit more round, so they're not like that maybe standard terracotta shape, but that's okay. If you do want to straighten them out, you can, but I think that these pots are fine, just curved the way they are. They're just different kinds of pots. So if you like that, leave it. If you don't like it, then all you have to do is kind of straighten out some of these lines a little bit. But I think it looks good. I like the texture that you're getting on your door, and I think you're ready for your wall.
Lots of love, lots of nices. Well done.
I might just make those round pots because they did not go well.
And sometimes and that happens to me all the time where I had the intention of making one thing and then I start painting it and it turns into something else. And instead of like fighting it and forcing it to be something, I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I just made a different type of pot and that's totally fine. Like, this is the world that I'm making and I can choose whatever I want it to be. So, you know. Okay, our brick wall. So I'm doing kind of a halfway press and I'm just going to start. Now, whenever you do brick walls, you just want to make sure that they're not, you want to make sure they're alternating. So you do one, and then the one on top of it is going to start like halfway through. And then what I like to do to make sure I'm really getting a value variation is I like to do a dark brick and then using just water, I see how far I can go without having to pick up more color. And that way I know that I'm doing different values on my bricks. Now you don't want to make the white spaces too big in between. But the nice thing is if they are too big in between, you can totally go back and just thicken your bricks. So it's not the end of the world. You just don't want the white spaces in between your bricks to take over. Okay, now it's time for me to pick up more paint. And again, it's okay if these bricks don't have the exact same thickness or length. Again, we're freehanding this, and it's not perfect, but that's okay. People will understand that this is a brick wall. I just want some brighter brick going on. I want some redder brick. Oh, there we go, yeah. Now, if your plant is still super wet, like your green area on your plant, I would avoid painting around your plant until it's more dry. If it's really wet and you touch a brick against that green, they'll bleed into each other. So just kind of keep an eye on it. Mine's dry enough that I could probably paint pretty close to it or touch it and it will be okay. Okay, and this is kind of where you want to check and make sure that your brick lines are straight. So just kind of lean over it. It's hard to see something laying down. Sometimes I just like pick it up and make sure they're not getting too angled. Oh, people said they see a bunny. That's funny. Ears, head. Holding a basket. Yep, I see it.
And now it's gone.
And now I just ruined it. Goodbye, little bunny. These bricks turned out longer than in my reference, but I'm okay with that. Keenan,
Yes, ma'am.
if you were to have a boy, what would you name your son? Have you thought about that? Are you like all about family names in your family?
There's so many family names that have already been taken.
That's true, you have quite a large family.
There are a lot of boys' names that I like, but I don't know if I ever really nailed one down. I was destined to have girls.
Who came up with your girls' names?
I don't remember how we just settled on Eleanor, but we both loved it. And I think there was actually a...
Oh, you okay? What happened? Oh, that's okay, that's okay. Okay, hold on. We'll rescue it. Okay, she dropped her brush. It had orange on it, on the blue door. I'm just gonna lighten it up. Yes. Just with water, clean water. Maybe grab a paper towel and just lift. Then go over it with blue.
You are the best. Thank you.
It's okay. Things like that happen all of the time. For example, like in the tutorial when I got yellow all over and I didn't know how that happened.
Crime scene mode
Crime
activated.
scene mode. Thank you, Chris, for... It's because I was holding my paintbrush and pointing at things, which I actually tend to do a lot. That's how I get paint on like my computer and things, because I just keep my paintbrush in my hand and then I like do stuff. I get it all over me, hence the apron.
The bonus, though, is that it's watercolor, so it's
Yeah.
easy to clean up.
It's true. Lori says, is it just beginners that drop their brush so much? I guess she was just talking about it with somebody. I'm here to tell you, no, I drop my brush all of the time. I think I'm just a little bit clumsy.
Also, I think the dexterity of your hands kind of goes down the longer you paint, so you probably start to lose grip strength after a while.
Oh, like if you've been painting for like 6 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even, if you're not used to it, even
Totally.
40 minutes.
Totally. Did you notice that happening to you
No.
when you were teaching people how to paint?
I didn't paint constantly enough. It wasn't like an onslaught of people for hours.
What if I was like, we need to figure this out. Keenan, you have to paint straight for 8 hours tomorrow and tell me when your hand starts to cramp.
Then we let people know what happened to Keenan.
We're like,
out
at
I had
exactly
incredible
this turn.
dexterity. And 8 hours means nothing to me.
Well, you are Batman.
That's right.
Okay, I am going to, should we set a timer for the other side of our brick wall, Keenan?
Yes, we should.
I know it stresses you out, but we're gonna do it. Because sometimes it's really good to practice painting fast. If you're at home, you don't have to do this with us, but sometimes it's good to just get out of your comfort zone and just try it.
What time?
How long should we give for the other side of the brick wall? Because I think we're all about ready to move on to the other side. Like,
1 minute and 42 seconds.
no, let's do 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, and we're just going up to the ivy, and then we'll do our ivy, and then go back to the brick wall. Okay?
When are you ready?
Now. I'm ready.
Okay.
3 minutes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
That's bad tempo, but you get the idea.
Now the hard thing of starting the other side of the wall is you have to make sure your brick kind of matches the first part of the wall. So you're like,
Tell me you did.
no, you're doing it great.
Okay.
But like, I was just like, shoot, how long did I actually make those bricks? So just look back. And if one is really long, it's not like this is like totally like a hot dog bun. That is so long, but that's okay. Hit. Okay. Any more? Tell me when we're halfway, Keenan.
Oh, okay.
Paint faster. Remember when you thought this would be stress relieving? Well, guess what? Reality check.
Speed painting. Amy asked if Nicole made it safely to South Africa.
Nicole did make it safely to South Africa. She is there now. And she's been posting pictures on her Instagram. So if you have an Instagram, you should follow her and see how her adventures are going. Okay, I think, now mine got a little bit bigger, but I think I did pretty good.
30 seconds.
Oh, you guys better hurry up.
Sarah.
I only am
just
doing this
waited
because
there.
because I like you and I feel comfortable with you.
So I like how you say nice things while you're stressing us out.
It's true though. If I didn't know, if I wasn't comfortable with you, I'd be like, no, take your time. No, don't
Make this
worry.
a 4-hour episode.
We can be here all night if that's what you need. Please like me.
Everyone loves this.
Okay. Good job. Oh, I missed one little spot.
No.
They're like, too bad. Paintbrush is down. Okay. We're going to move on to our wall foliage and then we'll finish up our bricks. So move on from the bricks. Take a break. And it's also really good to start something and then like do something else and come back to it because you can come back to it with fresh eyes. And because sometimes when you're so in something, it's really hard to like see what's actually going on. So it's really good for you guys to take a break on things and move on to something else. So I'm going to go back to my green water and I'm going to mix some green together. Put a little bit of fuchsia in there to tone down this green. There we go. And same thing that I did for my bushes, except a little bit bigger. So I'm just kind of doing curved. I need more yellow. Kind of these curved areas. They're just marks. There's no rhyme or reason to them. I'm lifting up my paintbrush. I'm getting kind of random. It's okay. Don't be afraid to let things get a little bit messy. Okay, and then I'm going to use just water to kind of start spreading this around, introducing a lighter value in there. Still leaving white marks in between though, especially we want to leave some bigger, wider spaces because we're going to put flowers in there. So if you have some bigger white spaces, that's okay. That's just where you will put some flowers. And then when it's nice and wet, drop in some color. You can do yellow, you can do blue, you can do a darker green. Just have some fun with it and let the watercolor do the work. This is why I love watercolor so much, is you're gonna get some really cool textures and some interesting marks and blooms, and that's okay, that's what we want. And we're not doing any of that, it's the watercolor doing it for us. And then if you want it to feel a little bit more, is like around the edges, you can do smaller marks and smaller pieces that kind of come off of it, because that's a little bit true to what we see in nature, right? So like trees, in the very center of a tree, all of the leaves are connected to each other, so it just looks like a green blob. But if you look at the edges, you have those smaller leaves that are on the edges sticking out. So you can add little smaller pieces kind of coming off the edge of your bigger green blob, pretty much. And then I am going to rinse my brush and grab some fuchsia. And my fuchsia mix, so I'm going to put some clean fuchsia on my tray. So just in these bigger white spaces, I'm just going to put some pink. And when it touches the green, it will bleed out, but I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to let it move. It's all right. I mean, I'm not going to purposely put pink in there, because if you do it too much, it will turn brown. But if the edges touch a little bit and it bleeds, it's not a huge deal. Andy asks, is there anything that can be sprayed on the artwork after it's done to preserve the color? I have never used anything personally. I know that there are some people within our community who have used different finishing sprays. I think there's a brand, it starts with a K. Krylo? Will you Google that and see if that's right? I've heard some, Krylon, maybe that's it. I've heard some people have success with that, but it's hard because like I've heard success stories and I've also heard unsuccessful stories. So if it's something that's super, super important to you, maybe do a test run first on something else to make sure that it works. There's also UV glass, like protective glass that you can use. But for me personally, I just scan my paintings. So I scan them in my computer, and then that way I can give the original away, or if it fades or whatever, it's not a huge deal. That's how I preserve my paintings and illustrations that I do.
There is
Krylon
Yep.
UV archival spray or resistance spray. Yeah, Krylon. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
So
Krylon.com.
that's the one that I've heard. I've never used it myself. I have seen some that it turns out great, and then some say that even with it on, it kind of desaturates the color, which it might do, because what makes these so vibrant is the transparency of the watercolor. Because these are so transparent watercolors, the white of the paper shines through more, which is why these are so vibrant, also because they're dye-based. So yeah, just test it. Just test it and see. But for me, I don't do any finishing sprays. I keep all my originals just at my desk and then scan them. Oh, Shayla said she used Krylon UV spray gloss finish and she loved it. It looked great. So good. I'm glad we have some success. Oh, look at those. That's so cool.
It turned out
Yeah.
better than I thought.
They're like balloon, like, here, let's show.
Yeah, let's show.
So here her flowers, they kind of bled into the green, but they bloomed out. So they look like flower petals. Very cool. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's look at Alex's here. So we have hers, we have some pretty things going on here and some cool textures. I do think I am missing a little bit of the lighter values within this, but never fear, because you can always lighten color up. So if this is happening and it kind of turns more towards one value, just add some water and lift with a wet paintbrush and wipe it on your paper towel. So we're just trying to introduce a lighter value in some of the spaces, just to try and create a sense of depth within our shrubbery. And you can also just drop water in there too. It's going to create blooms, spread some color around. So you can't ever fully erase in watercolor, but you sure can lighten it up. Okay, there we go. And then just for extra, I didn't even ask if it was okay if I painted on this.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. So just, and then I'm going to just introduce some darker ones in there too, while it's nice and wet. There we go. Yep. Very nice. Renee says that with that spray, the trick is not to spray it too thick or too close on the paper. Good to know. So just kind of do a light mist, I would assume, from kind of farther away.
Maybe a couple layers.
Yeah. Someone asked what kind of scanner I use. I have an Epson scanner. I can't remember the exact model number. It does 9 by 12. So I think technically it's only supposed to be like 8.5 by 11, but the scanning bed is 9 by 12. And so sometimes it cuts off just a little bit, but not enough to like, I'll just slightly trim my paintings and they fit nice on the scanner bed. Okay. Now we're going to move on and do the rest of our bricks. Now I noticed that on my left-hand side, the ones that we were doing very quickly, even though these are different colors, they're very similar in value actually. So I'm going to go back in and kind of darken some of the areas and outline some of them just a little bit to get different values. Now how you can tell, this is what I do so I can try and define values, because sometimes it's really hard to train your eye to look for different values. That is a skill that takes time, so don't think there's anything wrong with you. But what I do is I actually squint my eyes. So if you squint your eyes and you look at your painting, then usually the parts that are like, that's when the values start to separate. Does that make sense? So if I'm looking at my right-hand side, all of these darker bricks are poking out. But if I look at my left-hand side, there's nothing really poking out, which to me shows that they're all a very similar value. Did you just try it? Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing. I know they make like glasses. I know it's popular in quilting where they do like red glasses. They turn everything you look at red. That's how they identify values too. It's the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. So if you just turn everything one color, then you can identify the different values going on. So like turning something grayscale or turning something all red or whatever, it does the same thing.
I always wondered why my mother-in-law had red glasses in her quilt.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I learned that living in Hamilton, where quilting is a huge thing here.
Quilt Town, USA.
But yeah, they use for the different values while they're quilting.
Also, your mother-in-law's a villain, so that probably is why she had red glasses.
I wasn't picking up what you were laying it down. Now
I was wondering where you were going with this. I was just like, okay, Kaden, I'm not following so far.
We're going to stick with it.
We're going to stick with it. We're going to see where this goes. So I'm just putting a darker value and outlining some of my brick. Oh, Renee says she takes a picture and then desaturates the color. That works too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There's a few different little tricks that you can do. But when I'm in a quick pinch, I just squint my eyes or unfocus my eyes. They actually do the a similar thing. Is everything okay?
Yeah, my left leg is falling asleep.
Oh.
I'm not sure why.
That's not good.
I'm like 45, so
Makes sense for your body to be
got
falling
bad
apart.
knees and bad back.
Okay, and then keep going on with your brick at the top. And I think on the reference and when I did the tutorial, this is where things got a little bit wonky with me because I was just like, it's so much brick, you know? So my arms just kind of got tired and I just started like overlapping things and going a little bit crazy, but it's okay. And you don't have to go all the way to the top of your paper either. I usually actually like to leave some sort of like very rarely do I go to all four edges on my painting. So I'm just gonna go above my plant on the left-hand side, but I don't have to go all the way to the top of my paper. But that's also an artist, like that's your personal preference. So if you want to go all the way to the top, there's nothing wrong with it.
Where is our live schedule posted, or is it?
I think we have a calendar on our website. Is there someone from customer service on that can help us? I'm not sure either. They usually pop in the beginning, but they might not still be here. But I'm pretty sure we have a calendar for both the schedules of lettering and watercolor on our website. Now for when we do our lives, our new lives, there might not be a schedule for them. So if it's like a long, like important one, then we'll give you guys a heads up. But we want to do some more impromptu lives, simply because we have a really fun team and we have a lot of like creative fun ideas where it's just like, what if we just show people this thing right now? Like we want to be able to like have that freedom a little bit more. And so we'll do some more of those, but the lives will always live on our Facebook page. So even if you can't tune in right then, you guys can still watch later and enjoy. So don't be afraid of, don't think you're gonna miss out because they'll be available for you guys to watch. Really, I just wanna give Keenan the video camera and just like see what you decide.
See what I see.
You should take them to Subway one time.
I should take him to Subway. I should take him to get garage chicken. They should just see Hamilton.
They should see.
What a great idea.
And this Wednesday, Keenan is getting lunch from where?
It's
Subway or
Thursday
the gas
lunch day.
station?
Monday, 1 day. Tuesday, 2 day. Wednesday, what day?
What is that from?
Friends.
That's what it is.
I've got Eleanor saying that now, so she's going to be pretty smart.
That is hilarious.
Missy says the calendar is on the website. I'm not going to say that I looked for it, but
Is that what she said?
I don't know where it is. If that, if that clears it up for anybody.
And then what I'm starting to do, because this is just me, again, this is a personal choice, is when things are looking too evenly spaced, it bothers me. I don't know why I am this way, but when that happens, I like to do this. Oh, let's just mess some stuff up. So I'm kind of like going in with just water and blending some areas together. I know why I'm doing this. Okay. Because even though there is white space in between bricks, it usually has a color to it. And also, depending on where the light is and how things are hitting it, there will be value ranges within that white space on the bricks. That's why. Okay, so I want to go in and mess some of these white spaces up because that would turn, that's going to be more true to how you would see it. And that's why I did it. Again, it's personal preference though. So if you're not feeling quite brave enough to try that, because it is really scary taking a damp brush and just messing things up, that's okay. The more you do something, the more comfortable you are with making a mistake. So if you're not quite there yet, don't do it yet. But maybe in the future, after you've been painting a little bit, you can go, this is just a painting. I'm just going to try this, and maybe it's going to work out and maybe it's not. But I've noticed that the more you paint, the less scared you are to like mess up, because I know I'm just going to paint more the next day. And this one painting doesn't have to, define how I feel about myself as a painter.
So the reason I asked about the calendar was because Amy said, why is the cat on Thursday when there's another Tuesday? That's why I asked about the calendar, because the kitty cat is still scheduled for Tuesday, October 1st on our website.
Well, the reason why we have to change that is I'm actually going to be out of town that week. So the first week in October, I'm going on a painting retreat to Spain, and I'm so excited.
To Spain.
Yeah, so
That sounds fantastic.
I'm really excited about it, but I leave on Sunday. I'm going to be gone for that week. So we will be doing the cat, and I didn't want to leave September without doing the cat, so we're going to do the cat Thursday night.
That could have been a whole nother golden retriever incident.
I know.
Where
I know. That's what I seriously was afraid of that.
yeah.
I was just like, people are going to really care if we don't do a live for the cat, because they super cared about the golden retriever.
Yep.
I was just like, I got to finish this up before. So that's why we're doing it the week before.
Linda says, oh, poor Sarah.
I know.
So how
I
did
haven't
you-
talked about it because, like, how do you say that without being like,
So I'm
Yeah.
going to Spain,
Yeah.
and you're not.
yeah, like, I was at my doctor's appointment. She's like, do you have any questions? And I'm like, I just want to make sure it's okay that I travel and I'm on a plane. And we talked about blood clots and all that stuff. And then she was just like, why are you going to Spain? And I was like, I'm an artist and I'm going on a painting retreat where I'm just going to sit and paint things. And she was just like, what? She's like, you have a really hard life. And she's like, I need to get a new job. And I was just like, yes, I'm so lucky and I'm so excited, and I will be taking pictures, and I'm really excited to make projects after, because this entire box, the September box, was based off of the trip I went to Europe with my husband for our anniversary, and I think we got to paint some really fun stuff that I wouldn't think about painting before, because we don't have these kind of doorways in Hamilton, Missouri, you know what I mean? So I'm excited for that.
Not on purpose.
We do actually have a lot of brick buildings.
We do.
And it's very humid here, so the plants love it.
We're basically Spain.
Basically.
I think what you're trying to say is we are Spain, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Keenan,
been
don't
there,
worry.
done that.
You don't have to go to Spain.
I'll
Go
never-
to Spain.
I'll
You're
never leave
essentially there
Cameron Hamilton.
anyway.
I mean, I was going to say, when we came into town, I was like, wait, are we in Spain? Or
Wait a
Hamilton?
second. Is this Europe all of a sudden?
How long
How
were
did
we
I
in the
drive
car?
here?
Why do I see all these stray cats everywhere?
I have to work tomorrow.
How are we going to get back in time?
How do we get back?
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm trying not to panic about that.
Okay, what are you panicking about?
Just look at all that.
No, you don't like the watercolor textures?
No, I love the water. I'm
Okay.
afraid I'm losing brick.
Oh, okay, so if that happens, so for example, like here, I have some really great watercolor textures, but because of that, my brick got lost. Just wait for it to dry, and then you can go back in and redefine some of those areas.
Okay.
So then you still have like that cool watercolor texture, and you're still having a different value in between the brick, but you can just go back and define the brick. Sally said to eat some paella for her. Paella is a traditionally Spanish dish. It is like rice seafood, tomato-y sauce.
Saffron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saffron?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the little.
Saffron.
Saffron is a spice, like a.
So they're like little insides of flowers, and it turns everything.
They're
yellow.
actually the most expensive spice that you could buy.
Yeah, because I tried to make it one time,
Yeah.
and I was like, dear heavens, you are proud of your saffron.
They turn things really yellow too. So that's why saffron rice is yellow usually. I'll have Michael make it for you. He made saffron rice for us the other day.
Okay, I will.
Okay. My husband's a great cook. And sometimes Keenan just comes over for dinner.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Sometimes with his family, sometimes without. Okay. Hopefully you're good. Yeah, see? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't that just help
I
it?
think it helped my brick a lot, actually.
Because sometimes,
Blurring it made it better.
you know what? That's what I always say. You know, if it's like something's bothering you, just like mess it up. Okay.
I've seen bricks do that, so that's real.
Is it though?
Okay. We are now doing our last minute details, and there's actually quite a few of them, but it's going to be okay. Just stick with me. So one of them we're going to do is we are going to do the dark kind of brick around our door to push back our door. We don't, right now, since they're all an even value, it looks like the door is completely flush with the brick wall, which is okay. Like, that happens, so if that's how you want to keep it, that's fine. If you want to push it back as if the doorway pushes farther away from the brick wall just a little bit, like goes in, we need to put a shadow there to separate it. So I'm going to mix like a dark brown using fuchsia and green and yellow. Man, we are just going through this paint tonight, aren't we? So I just want to make sure it's a darker value than what I already have on my brick. There we go. And so I'm going to go around my door and do an edge. If you want to do like a thin line and then a brick texture in between, you can do that. So that would kind of look like this. So I'm like, okay, here's my brick edge, and then I'm just going to do kind of a brick spacing texture in between. It's been really fun. If you guys are part of our watercolor group, Let's Make Art Watercolor, it's been really fun to see how people are doing this project and also their own takes. And some people have been doing different like light sources. So they're like this is casting a huge shadow on the door and things like that. That's been super fun to see you guys come up with different things.
Has anyone done light coming from inside the door?
Ooh, I don't think so.
That'd be tough.
That would be tough. Your brick would have, if your only light source is coming from inside the door, then your brick wall would actually be really dark.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Challenge
By
accepted.
someone other than Keenan.
Okay. And we have not touched the shadow value on our door yet, so it's still, I mean, that shadow pushed it back a little bit, but if you want to push it back more, we're going to put a shadow at the top. So with that, I'm just going to grab a darker value blue than what I did for my first door, like my first wash on my door. And I'm going to do that mainly on the top. And this is where you can introduce like those plank textures that Alex already did her first run. If you want to do that, where you're just kind of like leaving some spaces in between. I'm just using the full belly of my brush widthwise to kind of measure it out.
Amy said during Keenan's 8 hours of painting tomorrow, he can try the door.
And then also, if you want to get like that paint peeling rough texture, have your brush a little bit more dry and not super wet, and paint with that, and you're going to get this super rough texture on your brush, which reminds me of paint peeling off of things. So.
Or unsanded wood.
Or unsanded wood.
Pretty cool texture.
So just kind of having that darker value on the top of our door. Can push it back just a little bit. Very nice. Yep. There we go. And again, don't worry about funky textures that you'll get. Don't worry if these lines are a bit crooked. Remember, this is just a super old door, and you know, funky things happen over time, so it's fine. Okay, we still have to do the door handle and the hinges, but we need to let our door dry first, so we'll actually put in our ground, and then we'll go back in and do the hinges and the knob. So for my ground, basically you just want it to be a different color than the brick wall and the terracotta pots, which is hard because brown is essentially dark orange. So like, just be careful of that. So I have this great brown already mixed for the shadow of my brick. I think I'm just gonna go with that, actually. And if you want it to be darker, just mix a little bit more fuchsia and a little bit more green in there. And I like to put in the color, like the darker value first. So it's gonna be darker right at the base of my door and also around the base of my pots. And then I'm just gonna use water to spread that out. And remember your ground, depending on where your pots line up, there's ground behind my pots in between the pots and the brick wall, so I gotta make sure I paint behind there. Yours, depending on where your pots are, you might not have that kind of space. What's wrong? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That happened to mine too. So if my brick dark brown edge was still wet when I painted my blue door, so it started to bleed, one thing you can do is you can just lift out that brown color with the damp brush. So just lift out where it's bleeding. And then when it's dry, go back in with your dark blue and repaint it. But that totally happened on mine too. People are saying their video stopped.
Our video is still going.
Okay.
And so is mine.
Okay. I'm sorry, my friends. I don't know why your video stopped.
Add what to brown to get it that?
If you want to neutralize the brown a little bit more, add fuchsia. No, I'm sorry. Add green. Green. So if you want a cooler brown, like a desaturated brown, add green to it to tone it down. If you want more of a super warm brown, add more fuchsia and yellow. Oh, I made that really green. I noticed my brick wall kind of goes at an angle on the left. See how high up my brick wall is on this side and then how low it is down there? That's okay though. I can just go in with my brown ground and straighten out that edge and cover the brick.
Maybe it was a curved wall.
Maybe. You know, they do crazy things in Europe. Maybe, who knows?
Things are crooked. I'm not.
Yeah. A couple people who said the video is still good,
Okay.
and then Marcy said the video has gone dormant. But do you get it?
Yes.
Well played.
She had a couple good ones too earlier, and I forgot to read them.
Oh, Keenan.
I think they were along the lines of that she adores certain things.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm just redefining my door edge on that brick that bled through a little bit. This one, it's bleeding from the bottom. I'm going to leave that.
Michael says, Keenan, the video looks prime, extra prime.
My husband, Michael, or a different Michael?
Well, our Michael.
Okay, now to get the color for our hinges, you're essentially going to mix all of the colors together. So I just took that super dark brown that I already had for my ground and mixed in some azure blue, and now I have like a nice dark black. Okay, so with this black, you are going to do your door handle and your hinges. There are many different kinds of handles and hinges. You do what you want. I made up a door handle, so it's fine. Do you know what I realized? This is actually a knocker.
I pictured it as a giant keyhole.
It does look like a giant keyhole, but I'm like, no, that thing dangles there and you can pull. Yeah, what I'm picturing is actually a door knocker that hangs and you
It could
tap.
also be seen as this door needs more cowbell.
So anyways, have fun with your door accessories. You can just do a circle and that would be a doorknob. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I didn't, and I'm just gonna stick with what I started.
It could be a middle doorknob.
A middle doorknob?
Like you put the doorknob in the middle of the door and it's offset to the pulley system inside the door. So it's a bracket that holds the doorknob in the center of the door, and when you turn it, it just brings that whole right side.
So it's just a doorknob but in the middle of the door?
Well, yes.
Oh.
All right, settle down, Matt.
Like, what does your home look like?
Oh, holy
I thought
door,
you were
Batman.
saying that. I thought you were saying that my doorknob was like that, and then I realized halfway through that you're talking about something completely different.
I was just saying different options for doorknobs.
Okay, I understand now. I understand. Or if you want to be really interesting, maybe that doesn't have a door handle. And it's like, how do you get into this door? Only some people know.
You have to knock.
You have to knock. Somebody has to let you in.
That's why the hinges are on the outside.
Are hinges not supposed to be on the outside?
I have no idea. I'm just making stuff up.
You just seemed so knowledgeable about door handles a second ago. Oh yeah, so we're gonna add flowers to our terracotta pot if you want. So let me finish these hinges. Are those hinges too close together? Yes. They are. I actually could probably fit a third one at the bottom.
It's probably a triple hinge.
That's
a
why.
Sturdier now.
I did that on purpose the entire time. Ba-bam. Okay. For our little flower pots, if you want to add little flowers, you can. I I did purple in my reference, but actually I want to stick with purple. So I'm going to grab fuchsia and I'm going to mix a little bit of azure. And the reason why I want to stick with purple is I could do straight fuchsia, but that might blend in to my brick depending on how red my brick is surrounding it. So just if I want them to pop out. So I'm just going to do little dots coming out. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I'm just going to do a little... Do I know what kind of flowers these are? No.
Purple ones.
Purple. Is there a flower or a weed that looks like this? I'm sure there is. So that's why I just don't stress about that.
But is there one in this nonfiction Spain painting area?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% there is.
You guys get to decide that. That's the joy of painting your own pictures. You can paint the world that you want. What was that noise? Okay, and then I just did little stems coming from them. So kind of poking out of the bush. And that is that. I think we're done. Good job. All right, we're gonna hold them up.
I'm going flowerless with mine.
I
Good.
wish I had. But we're here now.
Just own it, Alex.
Okay. Keenan,
Yes, ma'am.
tell us when we are ready. What happened? What?
Well, one little drop. It's fine. We're just gonna.
It's not cooperating.
It's not turning on?
Correct. It won't go back to...
I think you're gonna have to hold our front-facing camera then.
I'm not going to try that again.
You're not?
Oh, I always almost fall.
Just, you have to do it, Keenan.
Let me try it one more time.
All right, you have one more. We're losing people by the second.
No, they love us.
I'm just kidding, it's not true.
Okay, this isn't gonna work.
It is not?
Not.
Bummer.
I know. All right.
Okay, we're gonna do the front-facing one.
It's gonna get real weird.
Now that camera's connected to cords, so
Don't fall.
don't trip or drop anything.
It's gonna stay in focus this entire time. Okay, and over here we have Alex's. There's Alex. Oh, she had her tongue sticking out there. And coming on to Sarah. There it is. The $1 million look. Remember Devin. There it is. Beautiful.
Beautiful, you guys.
Beautiful.
We're giving those poor people motion sick.
Yeah, I'm 100% sick myself.
I always love when we do those close-ups because it's not square on. It comes at angles so you guys can see what the rest of our
Oh yeah, everything.
studio
I
looks
could
like.
I could give them a quick look of everything.
Do you want to?
I don't care.
Let's do it. You
All
guys
right.
want to see where we film? Just do a quick
They
roundabout.
can't answer us, but yeah. They're gonna get it anyway. Okay.
This is
our
the pretty
studio.
part, and then
Oh, there's our microwave.
there's our kitchen.
It's a little blurry.
When me and Keenan are filming pre-recorded tutorials, people cannot eat or get to their food.
That giant board thing is soundproofing nothing right now. That's where Brock sits, and I sit in the corner in the dungeon next to the fridge.
You'll notice the Subway cups on
Yes.
the
Used to be McDonald's cups, and on this side we have our shelving and
That-
more lights. And there's our store,
Yep,
and that's it.
that's it. It's so fun when people come to visit. I'm like, do you want to see where we film? And they're like, yeah. And then I bring it back there and they're like, this is so different than I thought it would be.
You mean terrible?
So anyways, give you guys a little behind the scenes look at that. If you painted this with us, thank you so much for painting with us. Please share your work. I know that even though we have a wonderful Facebook community called Let's Make Art Watercolor, it's huge and there are lots of people in different stages in there, and as a beginner that can be really intimidating because there are some professional watercolorists in there, but I'm hoping that you guys would be brave and post your work anyway. When you post your work as a beginner, you're giving another beginner the comfort that they need and the courage that they need to also post their work. So you guys, be brave for each other and do that and encourage other people to post, even if it's not the best one, even if they aren't professional artists, even, it doesn't matter. And the only way that we can get rid of that idea that people do it perfectly every single time is when we post things that we're not totally proud of, or post things that we did at the very beginning. And then you can also just see your progress over time. So if you're on Instagram, you could tag us in it, Let's Go Make Art, or hashtag Let's Make Art. Again, our Facebook group that is just for sharing art is called Let's Make Art Watercolor. So you can check that out. And again, we will be discontinuing our lives Tuesday night. So this is our last one that's happening on a Tuesday. We still have to finish the box of September, so we will be doing that on Thursday. We'll be doing our cat tutorial, 7:15 Central Standard Time, Thursday night. And then our lives will be kind of more during the day and sporadic. So that will be fun. And I think that's all I need to say. So you guys should be getting your October boxes around this time. They're starting to ship. And we have pan paints in those. We never officially announced it, I don't think. We just did it in ads.
Surprise.
Yeah. So if you're a subscriber, you will be getting a travel tin, which is perfect for traveling. It's my favorite travel palette. And also cake pans. So they're light, fast paints. They're super fun, and I just want to show you guys how to use those. So you will expect that in your October box. And I think that's all I got to say. Devin, Alex, thank you so much for painting with us tonight. I always have a blast with you guys. Keenan, you did great. Thank you. Except with the camera at the end, but that's okay. And that's it. So that's it, and goodbye. Bye.